Separation anxiety, very common behavior problem that a lot of people and their dogs have to deal with and suffer through. And the good thing is, if you know how to fix separation anxiety and the cause, you can actually get it to go away quite quickly. So what we need to do is first identify what is separation anxiety, what causes this? And the answer to that is fear, alright? Separation anxiety is essentially your dog is afraid. You're leaving and he starts freaking out because he doesn't know if you're going to come back. So that's basically the underlying problem. We want to start doing things to, number one, get your dog to see that you leaving is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing. And number two, we want him to be able to be calm when you're not there. So there are many things that we can do to, help our dog get to that point. So here is one of the first ones, right? A very big part of separation anxiety is how you come and how you go, right? When you're leaving your house or coming home, that's the time where your dog is going to have fear triggered. When you go to leave, he starts freaking out because he doesn't know if you're coming back. And we can be making that fear worse. So the way we leave and enter is very important. When it's time to go, you just walk out the door. There's no, coddling him and, okay, you be a good boy, I'll be back. And then, you slowly walk out the door and you open the door, peek back in to make sure he's okay. And then you walk to the car, then you come back and you peek through the window and he sees you. When you do that, you're just building up the anxiety for your dog. And you're making it worse and worse and worse, alright? So, when you leave and it's time to go, it's time to go. You just walk out. You make you leaving seem like it's no big deal at all. Half the time when I leave my dog, I don't even acknowledge him. He's in the room, he's on the bed somewhere, it's time for me to go, and I just leave the house. I don't even say goodbye to him. So one big part of separation anxiety is the way we leave. We make it not a big deal. Now, the other part of this is how we come home when we enter the house. Because if we come home and we find your dog and all of a sudden then we turn into the most excited person in the world and oh hello, I missed you, oh come here. We're giving him all this attention, we're getting him all worked up. So what ends up happening then is when we do leave, all of that time while the dog is waiting for us to come back, that energy is building up because they're waiting for that anticipation of when we come home and they finally get that release, okay? So very similar to the way we leave, we enter the same way. We come home, we make no big deal, hi dog, and you keep walking, you do your stuff for a couple minutes, let the dog, just kind of cool off, and after 3 to 5 minutes, then you can come over and sit down with them and give them a little bit of attention. But the way you leave and enter is huge. It needs to be no big deal, okay? And this is a super big part of separation anxiety, is us leaving needs to not trigger that fear response. So this is the first part, right? Another thing that you can do to help with separation anxiety is to do a fake schedule, okay? Now, dogs are creatures of habit. So if you have the same routine Monday through Friday, you get up, you eat your breakfast, you take a shower, you get dressed, you grab your keys, and you go out the door. And you do that Monday through Friday, your dog picks up on that routine. That when I hear the shower start, that means that they're going to get dressed, and when I hear the jingle of the keys, that means they're leaving. So your dog starts to kind of get worked up, and it starts to have the separation anxiety set up already. So here's what you do. We trick them. On a day where you don't have to do that schedule, let's say it's Saturday, okay? You don't have to work. Saturday, you get up, you eat your breakfast, you get dressed, you take a shower, you grab your keys, and then you put your keys down, and you can take off your clothes and go back to bed. And we kind of do this fake schedule to trick our dog. We want him to see that these triggers that you think are always going to mean, we humans are leaving, doesn't always mean that. So we kind of do a, fake schedule, and that can be helpful. Here's another big part, is puzzle toys, alright? Toys that you can put food into. Now, whenever you leave, we want to give the dog something to do. We never want to leave the dog unsupervised without us in some way saying, hey dog, do this, alright? And puzzle toys, or you could do like bones, as long as they're raw. This is a great way to do this, alright? Puzzle toys are toys where there's openings and you can put food into them. Things like Hongs, things like Busybodies. And basically what happens is the dog has to work on that toy and get the food out, and it keeps him busy. Create mental stimulation, physical exercise from having to, bat it and knock it around. So we want to always leave our dog with something to do. Now, if your dog has really bad separation anxiety, I want you to find a really special puzzle toy or boat, whatever it is, and we're going to put something really good in there. Something that he normally doesn't get. All the other times he gets his toys, you can use, kibble, dog treats, but when it's time for you to go, he's going to get a puzzle toy. Kong is really good, with the best treats ever. And these are high value treats, things like chicken, like hot dogs, like cheese, right? Human food. And we're going to put that in there. And the only time he gets that puzzle toy with that super high value food is when you leave. I want the dog to go from thinking, my human's leaving, oh no, to my human's leaving, yes, I'm going to get my toy now. We want the dog to look forward to us leaving because they're going to get something good, okay? So the puzzle toys are a huge thing to take advantage of, alright? Scents. It has been proven that lavender is a very calming scent for dogs. So if you have a dog who's worked up and has a lot of separation anxiety issues, burning incense before you leave that has a lavender smell, you can try the the plugins. I don't know how effective the plugins are as opposed to actual real lavender. The best thing is if you actually buy lavender plants. That's the safest thing because you can leave that out 24/7 and since you don't want to leave burning when you're not home. But lavender is a very calming scent for dogs. So you have, let's say you always leave your dog in a specific room when you're not home. Buy a lavender plant or two and just leave it in there. And just the scent of that can help to keep your dog calm. Alright? Music. It has also been proven that classical music helps to calm dogs down. So again, when it's time for you to leave, if you have an extra radio or an iPod, something that you can leave with music going, try it. Because giving your dog that mental stimulation of just hearing sounds, and classical music in particular, it's been proven that that helps to calm dogs down, alright? So lots of stuff here. We have a few more things, alright? A few more things you can do. Another big thing is exercise. As best you can, we always want to try to make sure we take our dog out for a good run, or to give him, take him out to the dog park, or at very minimum, go walking with him before we know we're going to leave him alone for long periods of time. Because a dog that doesn't have exercise has a lot of built-up energy, and that built-up energy is very easy to get channeled into separation anxiety. If I know that I'm going to have to go out for 8 to 10 hours one day, and I'm not going to be able to be home, I purposely make a point of getting up an hour and a half early that day, so I have a full 45 minutes I can devote to going to the dog park and letting my dog run around. And that's just a sacrifice I have to make, because I know if I leave him at home for 8 to 10 hours, without having done that, he's going to have so much energy that even with puzzle toys that I leave for him, and the stuff the other bones and whatever it is I leave for him to do when I'm not there, all that pent-up energy, chances are that he will get into something, because he will get bored eventually. 10 hours is a long time not to have any type of physical exercise and that release that the dogs need. So as best you can, if you can give your dog exercise before you're going to have to leave him alone, that is going to be a huge thing. Alright? Now, there's one more thing, and I saved this for last because it's not my favorite, and I really prefer to save this as an absolute last resort, is actual medication. Now, this is getting more and more common that veterinarians can actually prescribe drugs that can help with separation anxiety, that can help to keep your dog calm down. Things along the lines of even just tranquilizers that are on the lighter scale, not a super heavy medication, but it still is a medication. For me personally, I prefer it to keep everything for dogs, even myself, is natural, organic as possible. Now, the medications, if we have a situation with a dog that has such high separation anxiety, keep in mind that medication is not a solution. It's just a band-aid. It's not going to solve the underlying problem. If your dog needs medication, and you put him on it, that's fine. but then you need to make sure you're doing all the other things. So it can be useful as a tool to help your dog calm down. For example, dogs that are so stressed out and so fearful, they won't eat. They can't even focus on food. So if you leave your dog with a puzzle toy, for example, and you come back and that food is still in there, then that might be a signal, okay, now we need to try something. So we go to the vet, they give us some sort of medication we can use to help the dog relax. We try again with the puzzle toy. Because remember, the medication is just to help us with the other things while we're training the dog to not have the separation anxiety. So we put him on the medication, we try the puzzle toy again, and hey, what happens? We come home and all the food is gone. So now we know, okay, now we've gotten the dog to a level where he is able to eat and go for food. And then we try the other things, and eventually you wean the medication away and the separation anxiety is gone. So that is an option, but before you go to your vet, before you do that, try everything else first, all right? And if that doesn't work, you don't see, improvement, then we can try the medication route. And then, but again, remember, it's just a band-aid. It's just a tool to use while we continue to do all the other things. And then eventually we will want to wean it away, all right? So, separation anxiety. There's a lot you can do for it. The biggest thing is, the way you leave it in there, because that's usually the number one thing that we dog owners, we have a hard time doing. We leave and we feel bad and oh, goodbye, goodbye. And then we come home and we're so excited to see our dog after the day. And it's super hard, but it's very important. You gotta make leaving and coming home not a big deal. And, like I said, you come home, give your dog, ignore him, say hi dog, pat him on the head, and then walk away for 3 to 5 minutes. And just give him that break to separate you coming home and that surge of excitement, okay? And after 3 to 5 minutes, yeah, then go over and you can pet him and you can play with him and you can, give him some love. But by waiting that 3 to 5 minutes, you're separating the action of you coming home and that overexcited, built up energy that you would normally be teaching him to have waiting for you to come home, all right? So, separation anxiety. Hopefully this gives you the answers you need to solve your dog's separation anxiety problem. Very common behavior problem is people have dogs who eat poop. Now, there's lots of things we can try to get our dog to stop this behavior. But first, I want to go over why